so deep, I'm falling. Head over heels, I keep falling. This one runs so deep, I'm falling. Head over heels, I keep falling.
Hey, Positive Power fans, this is Ginger Star. Welcome back to another amazing Positive Power episode. And today I do have another guest with me today. Her name is Emma. We all love the name Emma. That's a very beautiful name, by the way. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
You know what? I am doing fantastic. Now, I got to ask because you used the word well. So you're not great or terrific or fantastic yourself. You're just well.
No, I'm pretty fantastic today. It's a really good day. It's a great week. Yeah.
That's awesome. We jumped from well to fantastic, guys. Emma's got a lot of positive energy around here. I really think you guys are going to enjoy this. All right. So the positive word of the day is confident. So Emma has the challenge to try to use that word during the interview. And of course, for the audience who is participating, do not forget to comment below how many times that the word was used. If you're the first person to get it right, you will be mentioned in the next video. So don't forget. Yes. All right. So Emma, you seem to have like a lot of positive energy around you. So you said you were a voice actor. Tell us a little bit about the characters you voiced and like what you've done and like how did you get into the profession?
I actually I've been an actor my entire life. I was born into it. My mother was a dance teacher and an acting teacher. And so I was, her child. So I was placed on stage. And then I went to school for theater. I went to university for theater. I was in an academy program. And then I actually left acting because I was tired of the kind of like, you have to look this particular way or be this weight or your hair has to be this. It was just like, oh, for the love of. So I got tired of it always just being about the physical instead of your actual ability to tell a story. And I went off and traveled the world and became a yoga teacher. I started teaching yoga. And when I came back to Canada, it was actually, I got into voice acting because one of my clients was an insomniac. He wasn't able to sleep. So he had asked me to talk him through a relaxation and allow him to record it. And from there, the person I was with encouraged me to look into voice acting, bought me my first microphone. Then I went and found a coach, and it just kind of blossomed from there that I found this place where I was like, oh my God, this entire world is about the performance. It's not about what you look like. This is amazing. This is exactly where I want to be because this is where you get to play. And it's all about your ability, and it's all about how you connect with the audience, regardless of, the skin package you're in.
That's wonderful. And, I personally kind of agree with you a little bit on, there's a lot of stereotype on, what we should look like in the world and, how the world should be shaped and all of that. And, the truth is that people really don't look like that.
No, they don't. It's photoshopping. It's just, people are people. It's like, I love the meme of, how to get a bikini body, get a bikini, have a body, go. Like, it's people are people. I don't think it's got anything to do with what you look like. I think that the most important part of being human is connection and kindness and lifting each other up, and who cares what you look like?
Yes, it's all about being confident.
It's all about being confident
in yourself. Yes. So could you maybe tell us a little bit about some of the characters that you play that my audience or my fans might want to check out?
Sure. There's actually one that's airing right now, and she's super fun. So I got to play an orchid mantis for the California Academy of Sciences for a radio spot that's running right now in San Francisco. And they wanted the character to be very femme fatale. So you know, it's just think kind of like Poison Ivy from video games, which of course Tasia Valenza is a massive voice actor. She's very well known, and she is the voice of Poison Ivy. So I tried to channel my best Tasia Valenza to become this character, and so she's very, it all started when I was a newly hatched nymph. Like she's very and as you know, mantis, they kill. That's what they do. And so she's very, I lure things in and I do all this stuff. But the most work that I do with voice are PSAs. I'm the voice of the UNHCR, which is the UN Refugee Agency. I'm the voice of World Animal Protection. What I do my very best to focus on within my career is how to help. So regardless of, like I do a lot of corporate and explainer and stuff like that and help companies, pitch their products. But I do try to really focus on PSAs of, how can you help the world? How can you help your fellow man? How can you help animals? How can you help? So I'm very confident in the realm of PSA.
And for those of us who don't know what PSA is, could you maybe explain it a little bit more? Like, what does PSA mean?
So PSA is a public service announcement. So, but that's technically what it means. So there's many, many different ways that PSAs are presented. It could be, like if there's right now, I think there's advertising for bladder cancer, and it's like, a bunch of lemons and then a red lemon. So because if you see blood in your urine, go and get checked. All of this stuff. So they're PSAs. It's anything that's going to make the public aware of something that they can do either to help themselves or to help their fellow man or to help the planet, things like that. So it's still technically an advertisement, but it's to help an organization that is doing good. So whether it's bringing awareness to a condition that you may have that you might not be aware that you have, or that, going to Marineland or SeaWorld or any of those things is not a great idea because these animals are in captivity, things like that. So PSAs are about bringing awareness to making the world a better place.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the going to like SeaWorld and like those other type of attractions. I read a documentary like a couple of months ago, and it was solely about the dolphins and how the whales were being mistreated. And I think like the CEO of SeaWorld was saying something about that they were going to stop bringing in whales, but the whales that were already there had already been like so used to being in that environment that they were afraid of putting them like back out in the wild. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, it's like, okay, so you're trying to save the whales, but really you're putting them in conditions that they aren't going to really thrive or live very long. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's great. And it's great that you're bringing those type of awareness to like different people. Like that's great that you had that voice to give that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I also think that it's wonderful that you do yoga. Tell us a little bit about your yoga ventures. Like, so when you started yoga, you said you started yoga when you came back. So what inspired you to become a teacher?
I was actually tricked by my teacher to be a teacher. So back in the day, before you were a twinkle in your parents' eye, is when I started to practice yoga. And I was a gym bunny. I've always been a gym bunny. I love the gym. But it was one of those, I was in a training phase moving towards a bikini contest, and I had kind of hit a fitness plateau. So I wasn't physically changing. Nothing was moving in my body. So it was like, I was reading a fitness magazine and it suggested try something completely different, something that's outside of the realm of what you're doing. And yoga was one of the suggestions. So I went and found a yoga class, basically got my butt handed back to me in this class. Like I was like, whoa, like I am fit. And this class was, because it was movements and expressions of movements that I had never done, it was really hard. I was like, oh. So continued that as just something that I did as part of my fitness regimen. But so I was living in Canada at the time. I'm originally from Ireland. I went back to Ireland for kind of the intention was it was just a 3-month tour. Like I was going to go back to my roots and travel to the four corners of the country, and had booked this tour, and the tour fell through. So on the day that the tour fell through, that was canceled, I went and met a friend for a drink. We got to talking, ended up at the restaurant that she was working at needed staff. I ended up getting a job because I'm still an Irish citizen. I have a tax number in Ireland. So I ended up, instead of doing 3 months, I stayed for 4 years. And in that time, I started doing more yoga because the gym system there was not great at the time. And long story short, within about a 2-year period, I apprenticed with my teacher. And then she kept telling me, you should teach, you have the personality to teach, you know what you're doing, you should teach. But I was like, I wasn't confident enough to teach. I didn't feel that I had what it took to be a good teacher. And so she pulled the, I've had a really bad day. My boyfriend just broke up with me. I can't teach, I'm crying. So you have to do it because the class starts in 15 minutes. So, you know, trial by fire, I was thrown in and I taught the class, and then she walked in at the end of the class. I was like, but it's, you know, to be fair, it did give me the confidence to teach. And that's then when I went and I did an official teacher training for another 2 years. Then it was a 2-year program. Now it's 30 days. Not sure how you fit that much into 30 days, but that's my opinion. So I've been teaching for about 25 years, and it's, even though voice is now my full-time focus, yoga is still a huge part of my life. And I think it's a gift that keeps on giving. It's given me confidence in my body. It's given me confidence in my appearance. It's given me confidence in the strength of mind that, you know, it's when I need to make a big decision about something that I'm able to sit and listen to myself instead of constantly asking. I notice that if I'm asking other people their opinion of what I need to do, that's generally because I have no idea and I haven't let myself sit and ask the question and let the answer come up because I've been still and quiet.
That's wow. I think the fact that you were just kind of like thrown, sometimes that's like the best situation though. Like you learn on the spot, you learn everything on the spot, and you were just like thrown in, and now you're this, I'm sure you probably get a lot of compliments. I'm sure you're a great teacher. So I would imagine that yoga is probably like your hobby job, and then like voice acting is like your full-time job.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And for those of us who are beginning or might want to get into voice acting, would you maybe have any tips or like anything that you could share for our viewers?
So many. First of all, voice acting is a business. It's not just a thing that you do. It's you, to be a voice actor, you're starting a small business. And I think that's what the part that people miss. They think it's really, really cool that you get to play characters and you get to tell stories, and, you know, you get to go to studio and all of this, and all of those things are absolutely true. But the vast majority of the work that you will do will be in your own padded cell that you have to either purchase or build, right? So you have to have a studio, and you have to have microphones, and you have to understand how to use DAWs, which are digital audio workstations. So you have to know how to be a sound engineer. So first ask yourself the question, do I want to be a small business? If the answer is yes, then we proceed. The most important part of voice acting is coaching. As I said earlier, I've been an actor my entire life. I came out of the womb as an actor. I was placed on stage I think I was 18 months in my first commercial, like, you know, and then I was a theater actor and all of those things. And now I coach all the time. You never stop coaching. You never stop training. So finding a great coach, you could start with improv classes, Second City, Groundlings, anything like that are really, really beneficial. They're fantastic. Workout groups. You can find a bunch of voiceover workout groups online. There's a director producer in Los Angeles. His name is Robin Armstrong. He has one called The Panic Room. There's another guy whom I've worked with for years and years, Larry Hudson. He teaches one, it's called the VO Heaven workouts. There are many different workout groups that you can look for, and they're really affordable to work with. And reading out loud to children, especially like if you want to do cartoons or video games, things like that, read books out loud to children, because children are a tough audience. You got to do all sorts of fun stuff to keep a kid engaged and listening to you. You can't just read the words off a page. Like, you have to become the characters and get them really like, yeah, this is amazing. So you have to be confident in your ability to read and to pull words off a page that aren't yours and make them yours.
That's really good advice. You know, I have a friend who works in radio, and, you know, he was telling me, buy Dr. Seuss books. That's what you need to do. Just read those Dr. Seuss books and like read them out loud. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss is fantastic for stuff like that. It also teaches you to play with, because most of it's written in rhyme, right? So but it's not focusing on the rhyme, focusing on the story. So become a storyteller. If you want to be a voice actor, you got to be a storyteller. Everything is a story, whether it's a commercial or a medical narration or an explainer video about electricity. It's still a story.
That's beautiful. And I think that's the biggest thing is, you know, not everyone can tell a story, but for the people that can, wow, like, you know, what an imagination, you know, that you have to be able to have that confident personality to tell that story. And I did want to ask, so for my people that want to check you out, because you are a very well-known voice actor, do you have like any social media platforms or maybe like a website that maybe we could go to and follow you?
Absolutely. That would be lovely. I'm on TikTok and Twitter at Emma O'Neill VO. O'Neill like the surf company, Oneill. And my website is the same, www.emmaoneillvo.com. And I try to, especially on LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn, same idea, Emma O'Neill. I think there's VO in there. I try to keep them all the same, but sometimes it doesn't always work out. But yeah, and Instagram is the same, Emma O'Neill VO. That I try to post recent works anytime I have permission from a client to post a spot that I've done, something that I think would be of interest to people, then I do post it, and I try to post a lot of kind of tips and tricks on you know, how to use your microphone, or how to figure out shortcuts for recording, or how to get into a character really quickly. It's kind of the little tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of how to make your reads. I'm kind of like the queen of the real read. So, which is apparently it's very challenging to be a real person. The second you're in front of a microphone, all of a sudden you get your voice actor voice. And it changes completely. And then it's like, no, that's not what they want. They want real person. So little tips and tricks about that.
What's the best microphone that you've ever had to work with?
This one. It's a Neumann U87. So, and this is a Sennheiser 416. So Sennheiser's, with the tone of my voice, a U87 is fantastic. U67s and U47s are also kind of like the dream mic. They're redonkulously expensive, but they're worth every penny. But this is my home mic, and it's kind of a standard in higher end studios. So is the Neumann U87. You don't need to start with a Neumann U87. You do need to have good gear to audition with, but you don't need to get crazy. You just focus more on, if you are looking to get into the realm of voice acting, focus more on your environment than on your microphone.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
And I imagine, like, do you have like some kind of like sound thing, like in the back there, like a soundproofer?
I'm actually in a completely custom built sound booth. So this booth is double walled. There's a 6-inch gap between each of the walls. Then the door is a 6-inch thick door. And there's a floating floor, and the ceiling does not touch the ceiling in the exterior room. So this was custom built. I also have a Studio Bricks booth, but that's for, you know, when we move to the new house. The new house is completely made up in my mind. We don't have the new house yet, but but I am confident we will have the new house, and the Studio Bricks will be put together there. Studio Bricks is just, it's a brand of prefabricated sound isolation booth that a lot of voice actors use.
Oh, that's what kind of house are you planning on getting? Like, is this like your dream
house? My dream house, yeah. My dream house is like, because I live in downtown Toronto, and real estate in Toronto is insanity. Like, it's insanity. Like, the average cost of a house is $1.5 million, and that's for like a 2-bedroom semi. That's the size of a postage stamp that you could reach out and touch your neighbor's walls on either side. I call them trailers. It's like, because it feels like that, like a trailer home, because you're that close together. Some trailer homes are actually larger than the homes that you can purchase in Toronto for $1.5 million. So in my dream home, on my dream board, it's a detached house that has room around it. And that my studio, my booth currently is in the basement of this house, and in the new house, my studio is either on the main floor or the second floor, full of sunlight. I'm confident it will happen. It will. I'm going to manifest that. I am manifesting it.
Man, okay, so when you get this dream house, please call me up, and I gotta come over, and we're gonna do some yoga, and we're just gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that'd be a yoga deck and everything. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely would want to come over. All right, well, Positive Power fans, we're getting ready to head out. But as always, if you guys like these videos, don't forget to hit the power button. For those of you who are new here, the power button is the subscribe button. That's the little red thing at the bottom there. And don't forget to like, comment, and share. And of course, if you want to follow Emma, please go ahead and do that. She is an amazing voice actor. You guys will not be disappointed. I promise you. And as always, stay positive.